to kind of set the stage for everyone here, wanted to kind of talk about what happened even for us within our operations team at FluentStream. As I mentioned, I head up operations, which encompasses customer support, account management, business operations, which is billing, collections, all of that stuff. And so for us, much like many of you, we take and make a lot of phone calls. The average business phone team makes hundreds of calls a month. In our case, it's over 1,000. That's a lot to review. If you go back in time 2 years ago, we actually employed a dedicated headcount to try to QA all of our calls and our emails and our interactions with customers. However, one person, just an individual human being, can only get to so many calls and interactions within their 40-hour work week. And so what we found with that is not only was it constricting in terms of what that individual could do, but also we're a mighty team. We have a lot to do. We've been in a growth stage where we're kind of constantly trying to support more and more customers. And with that, we're really focused on employing folks that are helping our customers, our awesome support agents and voice ops engineers, as well as our customer account managers, and then the leaders that are empowering them. So adding that layer of a person that just sits in QAs wasn't really the best use of our internal budget, not to mention that person could only get to a small percentage of cases. And when you kind of look at that at the team level, coaching, I actually have a very strong background in coaching. My life was sports prior to travel technology. And one of the most important things that you know when you're coaching is that it needs to be factual. So when you're coaching like on the basketball court or something like that, you want to give immediate feedback. It's quantitative, it's factual, and it's not personal. But what happens when you're a couple degrees of separation away and you're coaching on a small subset of data is that it starts to happen on instinct, not evidence. You have recency bias. You might say, hey, I heard a call from last Tuesday and this happened. Is that happening a lot? And you as a leader may expect that it is when in fact we just happen to catch that agent on a bad day because you're not able to look at the broader data set. Additionally, you start to miss out on patterns, right? You're focusing on last Tuesday's call and the alarming thing you heard, but you're not listening to the 5 Tuesdays before that, as well as the Wednesdays and Fridays in between. On the sales side, you also start to see some of those patterns where we're losing a deal, we're not getting information from the customer because customer has no reason to outright tell us, so we're not able to actually hear it unless we're listening to everything. And so these are areas where we started to really look at AI and say, hold on, we think we can look at our data in a more aggregate way to be able to glean better insights. Now, if we take it to kind of the individual level, right, when we're talking about supporting our customers, thanks, Marissa. Again, we're on our back foot. We're handling complaints reactively. We're not able to say, hey, that customer didn't sound too happy on that call. Instead, the customer has to explicitly say, I didn't like this. I need a manager. I'm upset. Or worst case scenario, I'm canceling. I'm going somewhere else. So that's, again, where we want to start to get some sentiment ahead of time. And again, on a broader level, as opposed to just a small subset of interactions. Similarly, leads, managers alike aren't actually sure how they can best support the individual agent. And then again, customer escalations, they're reactive and sometimes they feel out of the blue because you may talk to a rep and they say, oh, that customer was fine last week. When we're limited in our capacity to be able to hold agents accountable and understand what's happening, we're always going to kind of be coming from our back foot. And that's not a place that we like to be because again, we're in the business of ensuring that our customers are set up for success and are happy. So we want to be able to maintain that through every interaction that we have. You can go ahead. So yeah, as I just said, FluentStream, this was kind of the problem that we were facing. And when we started to look at it, we were like, hold on, 70% of customer issues, they're coming through a call, right? Like it happens to me as a consumer myself, where I say, I'm not happy with something. I may call in, I may not explicitly say this is what's going on, but I'm going to start to express my frustration. And that's something where we really want to start to get that signaling in place and provide similar signaling to you as customers using our system to be able to capture that information before it becomes a true flight risk. What we've found in our at-risk process is that when a customer is saying, I'm leaving, that's the hardest time to change their mind. They're already on their way out, and they're finding they either have already found or are well on their way to finding a new solution. And so we often want to try to get ahead of that as much as possible. Being able to glean sentiment from every interaction is such a phenomenal tool for that. Additionally, on the leadership side, being able to coach 3 times faster and again provide that direct, concrete, foundational feedback that can hold our agents accountable is something that's so critical for us, especially as a really tight team. And again, looking at that broader data set as opposed to having to hunt and peck and just pick out either issues that have risen or just really what we can only find as one individual human. So again, just being able to look more broadly with a low lift is something that's been really phenomenal for us.